everyone. Now we are going, guys, to take the concept of 18.2. It's not hard, it's so easy. It's talking about how to graph the tangent function. Now the tangent is a little bit different than the sine and the cosine. The first difference we have it is the period. So first of all, the rule now is pi multiplied by b, not 2 pi. Remember that the period of the sine and the cosine is 2 pi multiplied by b, but here the period is pi multiplied by b, not 2 pi. So it's faster, and the tangent is faster than the sine and the cosine. So this is the first rule. Secondly, remember that the tangent, it is sine over cosine. It is sine x divided by cosine x. Unfortunately, here we have problems in the denominator. We have a problem in the denominator. Maybe the cosine is gonna be 0. And if you remember, if the x, for example, is minus pi out of pi, or x is pi out of 2, negative pi out of 2 and pi out of 2, all of these x's or all of these angles, the cosine is 0. And 3 pi out of 2, all of these angles, you have a cosine of 0. Cosine plus or minus pi out of 2 is equals to 0. Cosine 3 pi out of 2 is equals to 0. So we have asymptotes here. Oh, we have asymptotes. Vertical asymptotes, if you remember, comes from zeros down. Zeros down gives the vertical asymptotes. So remember this. Now it's easy to know how we graph the parent. Just what you have to do is to memorize how to graph the parent. We are going to take the parent over one cycle, like what we did in the sine and the cosine. We have to take a certain period, which is a good period, so we're gonna graph it in total. So I'm going to move to other page. Now the parent, which is y equals tan x. The period is pi multiplied by 1. Since it's 1, so the period is pi. So the tangent is going to repeat itself every single pi units. I will choose a different interval now. If you remember, I was choosing all the time 0 to pi to graph then the sine and the cosine. Now I'm going to choose a different period, which is minus pi out of 2, pi out of 2, which is minus 90, positive 90. And you are smart enough to know that the distance is 180, which is pi. Now, usually we use this period over the tangent to graph it over one cycle. Now let's take the parent table. Please memorize all the parent table we mentioned in different videos. So minus pi out of 2, sorry, yes, minus pi out of 4, 0, pi out of 4, pi out of 2. This is what you have to take. But what about these now? If you remember, these are asymptotes. So diamond, always you have to put minus infinity refers to the vertical asymptotes. Vertical asymptotes. And here positive infinity, it refers to the vertical asymptote. Minus pi out of 2, minus pi out of 4, the tangent of minus pi out of 4 is negative 1. The tangent of 0 is 0. The tangent of pi out of 4 is 1. So please memorize it. The first one, I wrote negative infinity because we are going to see that the graph is going to start from the negative infinity. You will see that in the picture, in the graph. And this is minus 45 degrees, which has a tangent of negative 1. And 0, 0, minus. And also the 45 degrees gives a tangent of 1. So memorize it, please. Let's erase this one. Let me erase what I did. Believe me, it's not easy to write on the pad. Now let's see how we graph it. The graph is easy. Just we make x and y, and take care about the distances. If you noticed, even though here it's pi out of 4, so pi out of 4 and 1. And there is another note which is very important, that the tangent goes from infinity up and down. It's not like the sine and the cosine between 1 minus 1, or between number up and number down if we have stretch or vertical stretch or compress. And this is pi out of 2, which is a vertical asymptote. We usually make a dash line. And even though here it's minus pi out of 4, negative 1. Let me write it up, which is clear for you. This is minus pi out of 4, which is negative 1. And this is 1. We have the other asymptote here, which is x equal negative pi out of 2, x equal pi out of 2. Now just you connect them. Now look at the picture, guys. It's like the x cubed. If you memorize the x cubed, it's approximately like the x cubed. Let's use another color. And that's it. This is the tangent over one cycle between minus pi out of 2, pi out of 2. These are the asymptotes. We need to memorize them. So whatever that any function you have it, you have to change them from the table. So make all the transformations from the table, you will get them. The numbers that opposite to infinities up, it will show you what is the new vertical asymptote in the graph. Okay? I hopefully that this part is clear for you. So let me move to another page. Now let's take the first example from the book. Example 1. Believe me, it's not a good idea to write on the pad. Y equals half tan x over 3. It's easy. Now what is the first transformations we have it, guys? It is horizontal stretch by a factor of 3. Normally we did this a lot. 2 vertical compression by a factor of half. Now remember the parent table. I will do it precisely and very easy. It's so easy, sorry. Do you remember we start from minus pi out of 2, minus pi out of 4, 0, pi out of 4, pi out of 2. Please take care about the step. The step is pi out of 4 from each point to another. If you remember in the sine and the cosine, the step was pi out of 2. The step and the parent was pi out of 2. Here the step is pi out of 4. So now when you have a stretch or compress, the step is going to be changed because we are going to multiply it by 3. And the minus pi out of 2 is going to be minus infinity. The pad is not writing. Minus 1, 0, 1. And plus infinity. Remember, this is the parent. I wrote it again. I'm going to do the transformations. They are so easy. The transformations. I'm going to multiply it by 3. So minus. What's happening? Minus 3 pi out of 4. And minus 3 pi out of 2, minus 3 pi out of 4, and 0, 3 pi out of 4, Move this up. 3 pi out of 2. So it's so easy to apply it, you know it. And only the infinity affected by negative. So since we don't have any negative operations, we don't have any reflections, so you keep it the same. So it is minus infinity, doesn't change. Now the minus 1 is going to be negative half, and 0, half, plus infinity. This is the table that we need to graph it. It's so easy. Okay. Now, if I wanted to open another page, so please write it on a paper so you can follow me how to graph it. Okay. Let's move to another page. I will do it with the black. Blob. Yeah. Now, if you remember the steps, now my step in the table is going to be 3 pi out of 4. This is my step. It was pi out of 4 multiplied by 3 since we have horizontal stretch. So my step is a 3 pi out of 4. So now look how we do it. Pi out of 4. Secondly, the board is better. Pi out of 4. Then 2 pi out of 4. It means pi out of 2. Then 3 pi out of 4. So if you noticed, I'm adding pi out of 4. And then finally 3 pi out of 2. The distance is a 3 pi out of 4 between each 2 points. And remember the asymptote, which is opposite to infinity, the last points. This is the vertical asymptote. And even though we do the same from the negative side, so minus pi out of 4, minus 2 pi out of 4, minus 3 pi out of 4, sorry, here 2, and finally the asymptote is minus 3 pi out of 2. The step is a change to 3 pi out of 4, not pi out of 4, okay? I'm going to write the points. It was negative 3 pi out of 4, negative half. So let's make my scale. So this is the point here. It must be located here. And the another one, it passes through 0, 0. And the 3 pi out of 4, it's positive half. So let's make it the same. So here's it. Just now you connect them. It's so easy. And you're finished. That's it, guys. I don't know what I have done. Please let me clean this. No problem, since I explain it. Okay. So this is the answer. This is the final answer. You can get a full mark so easy. Okay, look guys, I'm going to explain the letter B. Letter B here. Y equals negative 2 tan 2x. Look at the equation. They give us this one. I'm going to explain how do we write it. It's so easy. First step, we write the transformations: horizontal compression by a factor of half, reflection across the x-axis, vertical stretch by a factor of 2. It's clear and you know them. The period is pi multiplied by b, not 2 pi in the tangent, pi multiplied by b, and the b is the same as the factor, which is half. So I'm going to write pi out of 2. This is my period. I wrote for you, I didn't write actually the parent table. I give you the final answer. Please try it at your home. Just you multiply the x by 1 out of 2 and the y by 2. And just I multiplied the x's, this one by half, and I gave you the answer. And I multiplied the y by 2, by negative 2 actually. Don't forget the reflection. So the positive infinity comes from the minus. It was negative infinity and now it's going to be positive infinity, and this one it's the opposite. So this is why I inverted them. Okay, and take care about my step. Please, I am insisting about the step, because if you don't know the step, the graph it wasn't be accurate. The step of the parent was pi out of 4 in the parent, and I multiplied by half, so it's gonna be the step pi out of 8. So I divided in pi out of 8. And look at the table, it's clear that you are moving pi out of 8 in each interval. So just I put the asymptotes, so easy. I put the asymptotes and I connected them and I wrote the points and just I connected them. Look at the function, it's totally inverted. It was like this and inverted like this. Thank you so much for your good listening. I'm going to share with you another video about the rest of the lesson. That was the first part. The second part I'm going to give you in another session. Thank you so much. Bye bye.